The chair that I'll be showing and putting in the show is from some sketches from about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. And I call this a spring chair. The style for this chair I developed when I was a freshman in design school. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about probably for 40 years. I had to make the form to bend these on. Then I just used hand spring clamps. And that's flexible enough that you get some spring out of it. It was just a feeling of trying to get some motion with making a chair that moves without rocking. But the chair that I'm working on is also a knockdown chair. So it's designed to be crated and shipped and then reassembled wherever it's going. Seemed like a good idea from Hawaii. My dad's father got his mechanical engineering degree on the GI Bill from World War I. During the Depression, he didn't have any work at all. There was no work to be had. So he taught tool and die. And I inherited a lot of his tools. As a kid, my dad kind of funneled them in my direction as I found interesting. I would trade wood for making furniture for other people. This is a plant stand from Hawaii. Beautiful curly koa that is from the slopes of Hualalai on the Big Island. Once you're bitten by the wood bug, it's all over with.
We've got our own sawmill. This sucker's probably 40 years old. And it's basically a big chainsaw. We get the logs, mill them into slabs. So we sell slabs to local people who want to make their own stuff. But primarily, we are fine furniture makers. We have an abundance of great woods. Like just here in our shop, we probably have 50 different species, all that grew here on the island. And the beauty is in that contrast of the raw, earthy beauty of the slabs, but then matching the piece of wood to the design and then having the skill and technique to make it look effortless. Chairs have a lot more personality than any furniture form. That's my favorite thing to make. This is Cuban mahogany. Cuban mahogany is one of the most stable woods that we have on the island. Because it was manufactured from one long piece, the grain is continuous throughout. The tools we use are just very simple carpentry tools. Table saw, chop saw, drills, and sanders. You read the wood where you know that scooping out the seat is going to reveal its grain in a beautiful manner. This is monkey pod, so we'll use the grinder, remove most of the material, and then we'll use these sanders to get the shape. They're fairly labor intensive.
This is the rocking chair. This is a very difficult piece to make, takes a long time. I have been making them since about 1968, so I can't even tell you how many I made, but the early ones certainly did not look like this. These are hand-shaped. If you took precise measuring equipment and measured that arm versus that arm, you would find that there's differences. Maybe even as much as a 1/16 of an inch. That seems terrible. First of all, your eye can't see it. They look the same. That's the important thing. They work the same. But even more important is, if you did do that, that would tell you that this chair is made by a person and not a robot. Yeah. I hate robotic furniture. One of the reasons I hate it is because it's so perfect. These little fellows right here are Macassar ebony. You can go through a whole pile of wood and only find a couple of them that look like that, but when you find them, it's worthwhile. It's like a little diamond. This is a blanket chest. I made these way before I made rocking chairs because it's easy. It's a box.
Starting back in 8th grade, shop class, that was my first introduction to woodworking. And then the house we lived in had a room in the basement where the old owner had a bunch of old hand tools, woodworking stuff. And that became my little workshop. And I'd go down there every day and I worked on the guitar. I knew nothing. I mean, it was such a crazy learning experience. It was very difficult. This is the first chair, as far as I know, that was actually flat packed and shipped around the world. And they made millions of these. So instead of being cheap and easy to make, I'm gonna make it expensive and hard to make. But that kind of goes along with what I do because, you know, the pieces that I make, they're one of a kind. We have the CNC machine, so we're gonna cut out these 4 parts of the seat because that basically makes the structure of the chair. This is the front part of the seat. I wanna use hand tools to make these curves, so I kind of designed it so that I could use some hand planes.
I've had my hands on enough raw material now that I can kind of see what's going to come out of the wood. And then in my mind, I try and build it mentally so that I can make the best use out of the beauty of the grain and color. We have just the best woods in Hawaii. Monkey pod, kamani, mango. It's the most beautiful stuff. My first piece of furniture was our coffee table. Just a little hand sander, miter box, and some pocket screws, actually. And from there, I got my hands on the real woodworking tools.